Hey guys, and welcome back to the United Star. We are here for the Spurs preview ahead of the Manchester United versus Spurs game on Sunday. Sorry, the Spurs versus Manchester United game on Sunday. That is the 9th of April. I've got Hollie and Aryan with me. Aryan is from Kolkata Spurs, and Hollie has her own YouTube channel. Thank you guys for being here. And of course, we've got Prasham, our very own Prasham, with us here. Now, I want to start with you, Hollie. What do you make of Spurs season? And the same question goes to Aryan too. So Hollie, I would like to start with you. What do you think of Spurs season?
It's been a roller coaster. I think that's probably the only way to put it. It's always a roller coaster with Tottenham. I feel you're always up and down the whole season, but I think this season definitely, and I think it's for most clubs as well. I think it's for everyone. We haven't had a consistent season. No team has had a consistent season. So I think the fact that there's no fans there, the fact that obviously we're all kind of living under these COVID restrictions at the moment, it's going to be warranted that it's going to be mad. So it's just a shame that right near the business end of the season we seem to have fallen off a cliff. So it's just the way it is, I feel, sadly.
Right. Aaron, what about you? What do you think of Spurs season?
I'm actually not impressed because we could have been much higher in the table. We dropped easy points against 18th, 19th teams in the beginning of January, I think. We should not have done that. Defensively, we've been extremely bad. There is not a single defender who played more than 3 to 4 games consistently. So I'm not impressed. We could have been much higher in the table if we played better defensively.
Right. Now, Prasham, I want to come to you because I know for a fact that you are a huge Mourinho fan. Would you say that Jose Mourinho is done at the top level?
I don't know, man. It's hard to say. Again, yeah. If you look at Spurs, the way they're playing, and obviously defensively, like Aryan said, are not particularly good. Like Holly said, they've been very up and down, and it's sort of same old football from Mourinho. Sort of has refused to evolve with time.
Mhm.
So I think I'd always be a Mourinho fan because I think I have a lot of time for that kind of football because I think there's not just one way to play it the way Klopp and Pep sort of play it. I don't think that's the only way to play football, and he adds a different dimension in the game. And obviously, the character he is when he's winning, it sort of makes the sport interesting. But I think if he does not evolve, if he doesn't develop his tactics, he probably is done sort of in terms of winning another Premier League for sure. He might be able to win some of the cup competitions. But I think this season, I think I watched almost all the Spurs games and they just seem to sort of switch off at times. And Mourinho's reluctance to attack when it comes to sort of they're 1-0 up, he'll just refuse to attack. When they're 2-0 up, they can probably score a goal, they don't, and it becomes 2-all, sometimes even 3-0 up. So I think Jose has to bear some blame in that. But apart from that, when you have Davinson Sanchez in defense, I don't think you can do much anyway.
Right. Now, this is a very interesting topic that both Aryan and Prasham have spoken about. That is the defense of Spurs. Like we all remember when Jose was at United, he would focus more on the defense, and he is a defensive minded coach. Now, with the likes of Davinson Sanchez, Toby Alderweireld, and all the defenders you have, do you guys see the need for another defender in the team, or do you think that's a major hole? And if so, why do you think so?
I mean, you just got to look at results. The thing is, I can see what you're kind of saying in the sense that Jose could be finished, but I think every club he goes to, he needs the tools. And let me tell you right now, Tottenham do not have the tools at the back. I think the only person we've kind of really got is Toby. And to be honest with you, he's turning into the likes of Jan Vertonghen. His legs are going. So we're not going to have him very much longer, which is a real dilemma in itself. Because do I think Eric Dyer is going to be the man that's going to step up? I really don't think so. I think he definitely needs to be shifted out in the summer. And it's the same old story. We don't have a leader at the back apart from Toby. Now, the only player at the back that I have some confidence in is obviously Regulon. But again, he's not central defence. So I think for us to say it's all Jose, I think is very harsh because don't get me wrong, there's times when I've sat there and thought, Jose, I think you've made the wrong sub there, or Jose, I don't think you started this game quite well. But then you think to yourself, those players have been there an awfully long time. And have we really invested into that defence? No. And I think it's really starting to show that it's biting us on the bum, if that makes sense, because we've just kind of rode the wave for too long with lack of investment in the team. So I think come the summer, we definitely need a centre-back, because the likes of Joe Rodon, I think, is perfect, but he's not for the now and here. We need someone to guide him through. Now, I hope that's Toby, but again, Toby's not going to be here forever. So I think centre-back is definitely a major hole in our defence that we need to sort out.
Right. So it's a very good point that you brought the cups in. Now, Aryan, I want to come. I want to come with you with this. Okay. Now, obviously, Spurs are in the EFL Cup final and they face Man City. Right. What do you think is more important for Jose right now? Is it to get top four? Because remember, he's I think around 49 points, and that is 3 points behind the top four. What do you think? Would he prioritize a cup over the top four, or would he go
I
and
think
go
Sid,
all
any
in?
Spurs fan who will say he'll prioritize the cup over the top four. But go on, Aryan.
But because sorry, so I'm just gonna because if you get into EFL Cup, you're back into the Europa League. But if you get into your top four, you're in the Champions League. So according to that, like if you win a cup, obviously you have something to put in your trophy cabinet. But then if you get top four, you're in the Champions League. So what do you think will be the priority for Spurs at this moment of time?
At this moment, I think the cup is the priority because we are obviously at the final and it's a clear shot at it. It's obviously extremely difficult to play against City in a final, but I think we can do it and we will do it.
Right, right. Now, Prasham, I want to come to us, right? Europa League, it looks like we have a clean path. Okay. Top four for us is almost settled. Do you think now Ole is going to focus more on the Europa League and play all our better players in the Europa League and, take it easy with the Premier League? Or do you think he's still going to go all in for the Premier League? Because
I
top four
mean,
is done and dusted for us.
I mean, as much as you can go all in from the for the Premier League, we're not going to win the league. So whatever you do is not going to win it. But at the same time, we are playing Tottenham, which is sort of a big game. And mind you, we're coming off sort of a result where we lost 6-1 against them at home. So I think Ollie's got that on his mind definitely. Hollie can smile all she wants, but that's the only thing I'll have to sign is smile about this season. But no, I'm just kidding. But I think Ollie will definitely play out a good side because remember, anyways, Harry Maguire, Van Bissaka, and McTominay are out for that second leg in the Europa League. So
Yeah.
these three will definitely play. Apparently, Maguire doesn't need rest either. That's what he's been saying. Bruno Fernandes has to play. There's no question. So it's pretty much settled. Rashford is fit to play, so he'll play because apparently he also needs no rest, according to Ollie at least. So I think we
Mhm.
will play a good team, and at Spurs we want to win this game. And I think Ollie wants to finish second because if he finishes third, and let's say God forbid we don't win the Europa League, that's not progress. And I think he needs to show some sort of tangible progress and not just sort of this mentality shift that we keep talking about. And obviously, I think again it's a top six game. It's Tottenham, it's Mourinho, it's 6-1's vengeance. So I think we'll be up for this game.
Right. So now I just want to come to your predicted lineups. I'm going to go Holly, Aryan, and Prasham. Holly, what are your predicted lineups for this game on Sunday?
I wish I was a mind reader and had my golden ball out, but honestly, I haven't got a clue. Jose Mourinho this season, you don't know what you're going to get. I mean, obviously, after that Dynamo Zagreb game, he did have to mix it up because that was an embarrassment to itself, and I'm sad I had to bring that up. But ever since then, he's just tried to try something new at the back, and that's why this weekend I haven't got a clue. I mean, I know the likes of, I think it's Davies and Doherty are out for this game, which for me is I'm quite happy about because I don't want to see those two eggs anywhere near the pitch. But yeah, for me, I'd like to see a back four. Now, I think Serge Aurier is, I don't know where he's gone, to be honest. I don't think he'll play Sunday. I think we'll see Tanganga at right back, obviously Lloris in goal, with a combination of, I'd like to see Toby and Rodon. But again, we don't know where Toby's been and what he's been doing. So whether we see that or not is another story. And obviously, I'd like to see Reguilon. I'd like to see Højbjerg, Ndombele, Lo Celso, Sonny, and Kane. There's one more. I reckon we'll give Lucas a little run out as well because obviously, Lucas for me, he's been good. I still think he's riding off of that Champions League run against Ajax. That's definitely in his trophy cabinet at home. But for me, he's one of those players that you never really know what you're going to get, where he's going to be running at players and running into them and not passing the ball at the right times, or he's on his A game. So hopefully he is on his A game at the weekend. But I just want to go back quickly, if that's all right, to what you said about obviously the cup or top four. Now, me, I want a cup. But Daniel Levy will want top four. financially. So to say what Jose wants, what he does, I think you have to really put in the back of your mind, Daniel Levy's pulling those strings under Jose, I think. So yeah, I hope we put a good team against you, because obviously you're going to look out for revenge.
Right. Aryan, what is your predicted lineup?
Obviously, Loris would be in the goal. I can see Tanganga starting at right back, Reguilon at left back. Rodon, I think, will start. Now, the other CB, nobody knows who is Jose going to start. Sometimes it is Sanchez and Toby. Maybe it will be Sanchez. And I can see him playing a 4-4-2 like last two matches, which actually worked quite well, except few defensive mistakes by Sanchez in the last match. In the midfield, we'll have Højbjerg, Ndombele, Lo Celso, and I think Lucas, and Kane and Vinicius up front. I think Son will come down later. He won't start.
Right. Oh.
I just laugh every time people say Davinson Sanchez, because I see him and I'm so glad he's not in our team, because I just don't understand what's his point and how he's a Premier League level footballer. He's just the most ridiculous player I've seen in the league in a long time.
Eric Bai.
Yeah, this guy has no clue what he's doing.
Okay,
I mean,
brush up.
Sorry, I said I can
Sorry,
read
go
off
on,
a
sorry.
list of names if you want that shouldn't be in the Premier League at Tottenham, if you like.
Okay, Prasham, what is your predicted lineup?
So I think one position both of them are fairly certain about is Lloris starting in goal, and that's what I don't know what's going to happen from United's perspective. And I think between Henderson and De Gea, whichever one starts come Sunday, I think that Oli is making a decision there of whom he wants his number one goalkeeper to be. So I think we all should be on the lookout for that. And if Henderson starts sending out a big signal not only to David De Gea but also sort of in a sense to the rest of the world, because David De Gea could be up for sale. That means in the next sort of coming transfer window, and that is something that I personally don't like, but I could see it going that way. So I genuinely don't know who's going to start in that keeping position. A lot of rumors have been that De Gea was just given a rest in the sort of previous Premier League game against Brighton, and he looked rusty as well because he was playing after 2 months. So I do hope De Gea is the one leading sort of the line from the back, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's Henderson. In defense, I think it picks itself. I think it's going to be Lindelof, Maguire, Shaw, and Van Bissaka. The midfield too, I think, picks itself. I think it will be McTominay. So I personally think we could possibly go for a midfield four even with McTominay, Fred, Bruno, and Pogba, with Cavani and Rashford probably playing up front. But with the form Greenwood is showing, he might get the nod ahead of Cavani just if we want to hit them on the pace. So he might get the nod ahead of Edinson Cavani. So I think Cavani will start because he'll be more of a nuisance to the Spurs defense moving in and out of that box. But I do want to see a midfield for. I think that works well against the bigger teams. I think I'd like to see that.
Right. And do you think Marcus Rashford should be anywhere close to the squad with his current injury record?
So I think Rashford will start. What options do we have? If we start Greenwood and Cavani, I think it's two toothless sort of attacking team. I feel Rashford is again our best sort of penetrative force. With Martial sort of out, I think for the season now, I think Rashford is the one who can provide that direct running. And if Davinson Sanchez and Tanganga do start or at right centre back and right back, then I think Rashford can get the better of them running directly at them. So I do think Rashford will start, and the Europa League, I think he can take a rest because I think that tie is probably already done.
Mm-hmm. Right. Finally, score predictions. I say Ole will get a 2-1 win over Spurs. I think we will 100% leak one goal, and I think Kane and Son are the best attacking partnership in the league, or actually even in Europe. They're possibly one of the best in Europe, and I'm pretty sure they're going to leak a goal.
So, before we get some predictions, I just had a couple of questions that I wanted to pop
go ahead.
Hollie and Aryan, Hollie, feel free to jump in. Is Kane leaving in the summer, and what would that mean for Spurs if he does?
It's just the running theme at the moment. I think personally, if Kane leaves, he'll go to City or Man United. Personally, I think City because obviously the money. Possibly Man United is you're slowly turning a corner, if that makes sense. Trying to get back to the glory days. You probably need one more attacker in the sense of Kane, if that makes sense. I know you're shaking your heads, but if you had Kane in your team,
No, absolutely. I'm shaking my head in agreement. I
I'm
absolutely
shaking
love
my
Harry
head in
Kane's
disagreement
appearance.
because we need to build a team before we get a striker. It's the same for Haaland.
I mean, we've been trying to build a team for how many years? So, you know, but yeah, I think if Kane leaves, it'll be City because he's still trying to run after that all-time Premier League goal scorer. I can't really see him moving abroad. But then again, like with Kane's settlement, I don't know him as a person, but you can kind of see that he's just down to earth. Whether he just wants to spend the rest of his days at Tottenham, who knows? But I think it does hang in the balance as well of what manager we have in the summer. Because it's strange. I feel like if Jose leaves, we'll bring in another project manager, and is Kane one going to sit through another project? He did that with Poch and didn't win anything. So it's a load of different things that hang in the balance. Obviously, I don't want him to leave, but the board have alluded to someone big's going to leave in the summer. Now, whether that's Kane, I don't know, but I feel like someone does need to leave that we're either going to regret or not regret to bring in the funds. Because let's be honest, we need to sort this team out. It's full of dead woods. It sadly is.
Right. So, Aryan, my question for you is exactly what Holly said. Will Jose Mourinho be at the club next season? And what does he need to do to avoid the sack? Will the EFL and a sixth place do? Or will a top four without the EFL do? Or does he need both? Or does he need, even if he doesn't get either, he's going to yet be at the club because Levy is one guy who does not want to pay a single penny out of his pocket.
I think the EFL Cup would do it, or even top four. Any one of them would seal Jose's next season. But the chance of Jose getting sacked is pretty low. His payout clause is 40 million, and I don't think so Levy or ENIC would spend that. And I would rather keep that 40 million and spend it on building a defensive duo at the center. Bring in an established center back and a decent right back. None of our right backs are even PL level. All of them are at most championship players.
I listen to them. Sorry, go on. Then I'll make my point.
We have Aurier and Tanganga. Tanganga is pretty inexperienced. Aurier goes on kicking people in the penalty area. I do not understand. Then there is Matt Doherty. I have nothing to say.
Aryan, if nothing, you've learned one thing from Mourinho, that you have nothing to say.
Imagine 3 years like this, nothing to say.
As United fans, I think we just relish the fact that he's not at Manchester United anymore, even though I want him to do well at a personal level. So, Holly, then having said that, I just want to wrap this up. Can Jose truly win a trophy? If not this season, then next season for Spurs? Do you see it happening?
Yes, I mean, he's done it everywhere else. I mean, I know you hated him at your club, but he won you something. Like, Tottenham need to win something. It's getting beyond the joke now. I mean, we have all these jokes flying around, and no matter what we win, we'll still have the jokes being like it's only the Tin Pot Cup. But I don't care at this stage. It's been too long. I've only seen one cup in my lifetime. It's horrendous, and no, that's not the Audi Cup. So, for me, it needs to happen, really, doesn't it? And he's done it everywhere. And going back to this final, if there's one man I want in that dressing room that's got the T-shirt, it's Jose Mourinho. So who knows?
And actually, I want them to win the EFL Cup so that Man City don't win the quadruple and overshadow our 1999 treble.
No, City aren't winning the treble either. But anyway, let's move on to score predictions then. Aryan, you were saying 2-1. Aryan, do you agree United will win 2-1? Is that actually a good result for Spurs?
I think a draw would be a good result, but I'm hoping for a 2-1 win. Because obviously, Davinson Sanchez and Joe Rodon, they cannot stop Bruno Fernandes. They cannot stop Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah. I think Aryan has basically given up on anything from that defense.
It's horrendous. Like, none of them can defend. Matt Doherty is like the worst player in Europe. No team would buy him.
I know one team would, and they are those Scousers in Liverpool.
Holly, what do you think? A 2-1 to Spurs, or can there be a repeat of the 6-1, but the winners are different?
I sadly don't think there's going to be a repeat of that 6-1, sadly, for neither of us. It's funny because last week there was a lot of riding on our result in the sense that Chelsea dropped points. Like people above us were dropping points, and we buggered it up basically. We ballsed it up because there was pressure on us. So this week we'll probably win when we don't need to necessarily win, if that makes sense. I mean, we need to win, but it's more like we could win or we draw. Whereas last week it was like we needed a win and we stuffed it up. So knowing us, we'll probably go out there and beat you 2-1, but who knows on the day. I've given up being hopeful because it just crushes you every weekend.
So I personally think United can actually win this and keep a clean sheet. It sounds a little ludicrous when the form that Kane is in. It's probably going to be the first player in a century to win both the Golden Boot and the whatever award they give for the assists. But I think United could possibly keep a clean sheet. And I'm going for a 2-0 result with, of course, Bruno Fernandes getting a goal and Marcus Rashford or even Luke Shaw, one of them getting a goal. But I wouldn't be surprised if Harry Kane and Son turned up in the first 15 minutes, scored 2 goals, and then Mourinho parked about 15 players on the bus. And then Davinson Sanchez, obviously being the punctured tire, allows a goal in. And then we end up losing 2-1.
Right. Okay, one last thing. What do you think Mourinho's excuse is going to be this time if he loses?
It won't be out of Klopp's book, let's put it that way. At least we're not that low. I don't know, to be honest. I think Jose has some blame in the sense, but these players aren't mentally capable of like doing anything at the moment, and I think a lot of that kind of goes amiss in the sense that Jose has tried to mix up that back line. He has tried to play offensively because against Everton we did that and lost 5-4. So it's a tough one. We just need a rejig. I think Jose will probably do his usual, pick out a player and blame them sort of thing. But I've always kind of said that, I mean, me playing football, if I've done bad, I want to be known I've been done bad. Whereas you've got the likes of players like Winks, which will hide behind players or make an excuse for their poor performance. Whereas, no, you just should own up to your mistakes. But yeah, it's going to be a tough one. He's definitely going to call someone out.
Okay. Wow. So thank you guys for coming on. Please do like, share, and subscribe to our channel. We will see you soon. Thank you so much, Hollie. Thank you so much, Aaron. You can follow Hollie on her YouTube channel. The link will be in our description. And you can follow Aaron from SpursKolkata. Their link is also in the description. We will see you soon.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching our video. If you do like it, please click on the thumbs up and please subscribe to our channel. Click on the bell icon to get daily notifications from the United Star. Follow us on Instagram at the.unitedstar and we will see you soon.